Greetings, everyone. Dr. Arketer here. A bit delayed. Technical difficulties. It doesn't... They can't hear you yet, Froman. Get back in your box. Right. Where were we? I am live, finally, with Mr. Wicked of the We're All Wicked podcast. Greetings, Mr. Wicked. How are you? Thank you for joining us. Did you say drunk?
I said yes, drunk and foreign.
I wish I were. Drunk, not so much foreign. Although foreign is relative. Strictly speaking, I'm very foreign to you, Mr. Wicked. Mr. Wicked here runs a podcast called the I haven't done a slightest damn bit of promotion.
I'll get it on.
That's fine. Hypothetically, someone out there, at least 2 different people, are watching right now who aren't me, Mr. Wicked, or Froman. So that's fantastic. Greetings, Victorian Greyjoy, and 45 RPM. I'm deeply sorry we got started a full 10 minutes late for reasons.
So I don't think that you can hear me or Wicked.
Mr. Wicked, if you could say something.
Something.
And Froman, if you could say something.
Nothing.
That's right. The reset also fixed the previous audio problems that I had already compensated for, resulting in them not being audible now. Very well, Mr. Wicked and Froman. Say things.
Thanks.
Soup.
You're both in the yellow zone, where you should be. That's fantastic. Everyone should be hearing you now. We're clear to continue, right? Thank you for informing me, Steam. Also about inadvertently being in the rec hall. Right! This is an interview segment. I'm supposed to be asking questions.
I'm
Mr.
supposed to
Wicked.
be answering questions. Yes.
How long have you been at this podcast thing that you're presently doing?
If we're talking the current format, as in an actual podcast, I'd say something around 6 months, maybe 8. If we're talking streaming, I'd say over a year.
I see. What motivated you to get into the podcasting business?
Basically, why the fuck not? But yeah, that was it. I just saw some random stream and figured that seems like fun. I'm gonna do it. And somehow, by some miracle or curse, Miss Steam stumbled upon me and it went downhill from there.
I know just what that is like.
Yeah,
Rusty trombone. She knows.
it's a story I know all too well.
You know, one day we'll have to just gather together in some secret Steam acknowledgement club, a Steam support group to compare notes and see how we all got here thanks to Steam.
Is it really a secret if you admitted it on a live stream? Which is watching?
Okay, well, I didn't think it out that far. I'm just spitballing here. We have no plans to this end.
Steam tased Dark in a sensitive area.
No, but apparently I tased them, and somehow I came out the worse for it.
I have so many questions, but I don't want the answers.
Oh, well,
It's best that way.
honestly, neither do I. I don't have any conscious memory of it, but I've seen the footage now.
I'm sometimes a nice person.
We need to move. we need to get refocus on the show, and technical difficulties already really thrown things off here. Greetings, Kitty, Cutie, Green Thunder, the Mighty. Oh, special thanks to Direwolf and Vincent Veritas, who I contacted when technical difficulties occurred. Appreciate your help. As you can see, we're fine now. Remember, everyone, donating to Direwolf Media's Streamlabs encourages them to keep me around despite things like this. But, back to the guest, terrible host, where are my manners? So, you've started a podcast, it's gone through a few iterations. I believe I've been on a few of your podcasts. How many podcasts have I been on with you now? I think it's at least
Including
possibly
the
two.
three-parter, including if we're talking in separate parts, we're talking 4, but if we're talking the recording sessions, it's 2. We've been, you've joined me a couple of times when the podcast was about internet culture instead of true crime. It was, I believe it was the creepypasta episode and then the Onision trilogy.
I remember a lot about Onision, something about sticking people in basements and generally just
Yes.
being a rather creepy little weasel of a man.
Yes.
Yes, and I also remember the true crime. Yes, it has to be 2 recording sessions, and that was 4 episodes altogether.
Yes. If I remember correctly, you've been on 4 episodes altogether.
And how much money do those podcasts make?
All around, I'd say $19 if we're counting Patreon. Yeah, $19 per month.
Why don't I feel like such a breadwinner? Well, this is fine, because it means we don't have to get any sort of, struggles or fights over royalties and such. I, for the record, hereby waive all such royalties to my appearances on the We're All Wicked podcasts in either iteration. Let's see, awkward live, is it not? It's me, what we were expecting. A bit Arcus semi-competent, which is why we love him. I actually love the show, but I mostly love the background. I really appreciate that. And Ark is one of the nicest people on the webs. Oh dear. What are you setting me up for, Froman?
Failure. What else?
That already happened today, Froman. I don't need any more. Look. Was it you? Are you the reason we're getting started 10 minutes late?
I won't teleport inside your base and spray some questionable soup on your keyboards again. I promise.
Okay, unfortunately you're lying about that, so I think it wasn't you, and that's probably for the best. Oh, by the way, greetings, Jinxie, and memes of destruction. Okay, so, Mr. Wicked, your podcast started out as internet culture, is that right?
Yes, most people call it cringe culture, but if it fits, it fits.
Mm-hmm. And you also been doing real crime since then.
Yeah,
I've tried to support you in this also because I've got a few articles lined up twice now that largely revolve around crime, and I think we'll have a lot of fun going over those, but we probably shouldn't get too far ahead of ourselves. If I'm not mistaken, didn't you take a shot at pirate radio not too long ago?
What and a what?
Pirate radio stream?
Oh yeah, that didn't go well.
Yeah, I was there, so...
Is that why?
Well, no, you're not pinning this one on me. I had nothing to do with it going wrong. I sympathize acutely, though, and I would like to stress once again, you probably shouldn't give up on that. I don't know what precisely shut you down last time.
It was the bitrate. I still can't get the handle of my bitrate.
Technical difficulties. Again, I can sympathize most acutely. Most acutely. I've made you a souvenir already. Normally I'd be using that as your avatar, but as you know, I'm absolutely horrified by my own work on this point. So you've already received it, and you can share that at your discretion. Where do you see your podcast going? I know that you, sir, have managed to put together something of a production team.
Yeah, that is me, and that is Carly Rose. She's the one who does most of the research. I'm the one who then puts it together in the end and make sure everything is recorded the way it's supposed to be. She's the one doing the research, and I'm the one doing the runarounds, getting guests, making sure the show is edited, etc. I also made the website, but that's neither here or there.
Speaking of that, I believe you should have links to share that around in chat. The site is you're going to be your chief lead on finding his podcasts. Are you uploading to YouTube again? I know you left for a while there, at least.
Uh, I believe that I won't be coming back to YouTube, as in, well, the only thing that's gonna be on there probably is gonna be the pirate radio if I don't give up on it, but I'm gonna keep most of my main content off YouTube because Memky Jones happened. Are
Mum,
you are you are you unaware of what happened to Memky Jones?
I heard something about it. I'm going to admit I'm a bit fuzzy on the details. Maybe you can tell us what happened to Mumkey Jones. It's probably a very good reminder for every one of us still here on YouTube for some reason. Until they, get around to
Uh,
purging us for
basic,
wrong thought.
Basically he got purged because suddenly all of his content became undesirable.
What did Mumkey Jones do?
Made fun of a shooter,
Oh,
ridic-
yes.
ridiculed Elliot Roger, and that was apparently a no-no. So they banned his account, and now he has to put all. Now he has like a secondary channel where he doesn't really upload anything much, and most of his stuff is on his website.
Okay.
So
Well, I hope he's also uploading to BitChute if they're going to go that route. And this is a somewhat of an old story, isn't it? They deem something taboo and it ends up becoming in practice sacred. You can't mock what you can't discuss at all.
yes, that's what happened, and
Well, this is where the Germans went wrong too. I mean, you can't even shoot Nazis in Wolfenstein in Germany. It's just too taboo. Can't possibly be shooting Nazis. So, isn't it funny how they kind of swing back around to protecting Nazi dignity?
Oh, he's back on YouTube. Well, that's good. Momkey's back on YouTube, but
Yeah.
I'm not. But I'm not coming back with any of my main content, just to be sure.
Okay. Well, I would encourage you not to give up on your pirate radio. After all, the Killing Joker is just doing a great job of it. So the bar is low.
Huh.
If Killing Joker is in the chat, that was a
Not yet.
joke.
You're safe.
And of course, everyone should be aware of Killing Joker's pirate radio as well. Like, you're not really competing here. We can all be friends.
No, we can't.
Am I,
Frenemies.
am I missing anything important in chat from?
Not really. Me and Kitty Cutie are having a short convo, and Steam is talking
Being
about
Steam.
stuff. Yeah, Steam's not really saying anything that hasn't been said already by you two. So
You know, I remember one of the first time, shortly after we first met Mr. Wicked, and I got the impression that you were a bit afraid of Steam, and I had no idea why at the time.
I'm still afraid of Steam, but that's not. I'm still afraid of Steam.
I see. I don't get why. You just need to counter push buttons, and it works out just fine.
I'm pretty sure I would need a mace, but I'm not sure.
All I know is that that sounds disturbingly sexual to me, Froman, and I think that could be the trauma still, but
Wait, I
Oh,
thought this...
she's lying in chat. She's lying in chat. I will send it to you, and you can judge for yourself, Ark.
Yeah, yeah, she's a dictator for one, and you know, she has a timer machine.
I think I've
Stop
already been over about
Stop it through that.
how plausible it is that Steam's claims are going to hold up. Anyhow, maybe we should get to reading some articles. Provide you some insight, some inspiration for your true crime podcast series. So I've made sure to eliminate most articles that don't have to deal with laws being broken. The first one right here I thought was exceptional. Burger King workers call cops on snarling woman with 7 syringes inside of her. This comes to us from Fox News. Have you seen this article before?
No, but I want context. Is it inside of her or inside of her? Because that would make it very awkward.
So what you're asking is, were they surgically implanted or were they just sort of shoved in someplace?
Yes.
Let's find out!
Okay.
A woman reportedly snarled at a Burger King employee's Largo, Florida. A woman reportedly snarled at Burger King employees in Largo, Florida as they tried to convince her to leave the restaurant's bathroom. Police officers were eventually called to the scene where they made a startling discovery. Authorities are claiming that after taking the suspect into custody, 7 syringes were discovered hidden inside her vagine.
Why?
The Sun reports that Jamie Westcott was snarling and yelling at Burger King employees from the bathroom and refusing to leave. When the police arrived, they claimed that the subject showed several signs of narcotic usage. She reportedly agreed to be searched, but became agitated when one of the officers felt something hard in her groin.
Giggity?
At this point, Westcott reportedly told officers that she effed up. Officers warned her that if she was taken into custody without revealing what the item was, she would likely face additional charges. When she wouldn't reveal what the item was in her groin, officers took her into custody. At the station, Westcott finally relented and revealed that she had 7 syringes full of a clear fluid hidden inside her, the Sun reports. She has been charged with possession of drug paraphernalia and resisting an officer without violence. Fox News was unable to reach the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office for comment. Is this true crime worthy, Mr. Wicked?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it would be because I have so many questions. Like, were there needles? That's the first one.
You know,
that's why it was...
there's some hope here that maybe while she does have 7 syringes in her, apparently gotten in there with some effort, or... Look, syringes tend to be pretty thin things, but 7 of them? That's... Well, anyway, hopefully she at least left the caps on, but something went terribly wrong if they were in the habit of growling at employees, inquiring about them.
I mean, imagine having needles in your scrotum.
I'd rather not.
You'd be snarling too.
Yes, but mostly into the mirror, I would imagine. Clearly, I'd be in some sort of death battle with myself. But what a case of Florida woman!
There has to be something in the water in Florida. I don't get it. And I live in the Slav lands, and that's saying a lot.
You know, we're really wondering about that. I think there's not an American alive who has been paying attention to assorted Florida Man articles, and just... There are a lot of theories going around. Personally, I think it can go either way. Either Florida is just that much crazier, or it's being played up by the media. They've got some sort of grudge against Florida. They want to make Florida look terrible, so they're just picking all these extreme cases to magnify. Or Florida is actually clamping down on these news articles, and these are the things that just keep on slipping out. Like, the greatest conspiracy right now is that Florida is a post-apocalyptic hellscape with roving cannibalistic raider gangs, but they're just hiding that much from us so far, and it's just these bits that get out. You really don't know. We would have to perhaps quiz Killing Joker on that. After all, he is a Florida man. Director Live, what if they were steroids? Her lady parts could Hulk out. Is she a porcupine? Probably not. They did say they felt something hard in her groin. It didn't necessarily have to be the syringes themselves.
No.
There's them everywhere. I think Florida is just allowed to publicize the story sooner than other states. Yes, quite possibly. Certainly, there are Florida-worthy stories in other states, like, for instance, this one, which I'm pretty sure doesn't come from Florida. Yes, that's right. A felon from Washington state shot himself in the testicles and tried to hide the weapon while storing drugs in his anus, a report said Wednesday.
Why?
From Washington state, so we're not going to be able to pin this one on Florida. Why?
He was born in Florida.
We'll find out. Cameron Jeffrey Wilson, 27, was carrying a pistol in his front pocket while in his Cashmere, Washington apartment when the firearm accidentally discharged and pierced his groin and thigh. Wilson, who is a 13-time convicted felon, told his girlfriend to get rid of the weapon before going to the hospital. In the hospital, a balloon of marijuana slipped out of his anus while the doctor was operating on the gunshot wound, the report said.
You know how they say that after you die, you relieve your bowels? That's what happened. But he didn't die. I made
No,
it into the news.
he didn't die, and that doesn't explain it. What baffles me right now is that he had a balloon of marijuana in his anus that he couldn't dare to leave behind in the apartment, so he trusts his girlfriend to get rid of the weapon he accidentally shot himself in the testicle with, but apparently not with his stash.
Maybe he was afraid she was gonna smoke it.
Honestly, given the judgments he's made in his life, he might not be wrong, but I'm thinking in this case he probably should have risked it.
Or he forgot that he had the stash in his butt.
And for marijuana, really? I mean, it's legal in almost half the United States at this point, isn't it? I didn't think it was a drug that necessarily warranted balloon rectal storage.
Or he just woke up from a weed-induced coma from like 2007 and still figured it was illegal.
Oh, the lines in chat, Miss Team, he banged one out, he sure did. And indeed, don't point your Glock at your... I probably should refrain from gratuitous risqueness. People can figure it out. As he was being processed at the Chelan County Regional Justice Center, Wilson was strip searched, and another balloon of marijuana slipped from his anus, the paper said. Wilson was being held on $110,000 U.S. bail.
I have no words. Why would you just why?
If he felt the pain from shooting himself through the testicle, and I'm sure it's a lot of pain, that could impair one's bowel control, I just don't understand why he couldn't have left it in the apartment before going to the hospital.
I'm trying to imagine how that would happen, and only thing I can think of is getting kicked so hard in the bollocks you poop yourself.
Well, if you shoot yourself through the bollocks, you might be inclined to do the same thing. What's amazing on that point is that he didn't get that out of his system while he was still in the apartment, giving his girlfriend instructions on how to get rid of the gun, which he wouldn't be doing if it was legal in the first place.
True.
And hopefully those of you who do have guns legally know better than to carry it on your person in any capacity where it might shoot you through a ball or two.
Especially those big yoga ones.
What?
Nothing.
So, are we helping you find some material for your podcast thus far, Mr. Wicked? Because, as you know, I actually, you don't watch this show, so you don't know. But if you did, you would know that we try to be very helpful here. We're all about building a community of people who've been on my show and setting them on the right path.
I'm feeling a Florida man/woman episode brewing.
Setting them on the right path. Most of us just make fun of you.
I mean, you can make fun of me. I'm a cripple. It's all out.
Well, certainly being able to laugh at such things is important, but I'm not someone who would swipe at blue fruit. I mean, it's like you woke up one morning and decided to throw yourself down a flight of stairs.
That
Did you?
actually happened.
Wait, is that why you're in the chair?
No. But
Okay
I
then,
did.
well see, look, if you did that, then I would absolutely mock the ever-loving hell out of you. But since that isn't the case, I don't really see the punchline.
You just have to aim low.
Yes, I don't... Well,
Usually the chest level.
whatever else you might say about me, I don't aim low. I aim horizontally for the most part. I'm not all that ambitious, but I don't aim low.
My head is usually at the chest level. Just saying.
Well, then it's probably important that you stay on my good side.
You have a bad side?
Not really.
Color me surprised.
I don't really have anyone I want to destroy at present. Although I have the creeping sensation that might change in the near future. And next article. Man accused of stealing meat caught with steak in pants, beef jerky in hand. I know you're looking forward to this one, Mr. Wicked. And for those of you who feel that we've been making too much fun of Florida Man again, this is not a Florida Man article. An Ohio man was arrested after allegedly stealing a steak by placing it in his pants and walking out of a supermarket. Tavon Nelson Allen of Solon was arrested earlier this month after attempting to leave Market District Supermarket with a package of steak shoved in his pants and carrying a package of beef jerky, which also was not paid for. The 23-year-old refused to comply with an officer's request to stop. While the officer was arresting Nelson Allen in the parking lot of a nearby apartment complex, the steak package allegedly fell from the man's pants. According to Fox 19, Nelson Allen was accused of shoplifting from the supermarket a day prior to the meat incident.
How does it... Where was it? Was it like in this or pant leg? Or how does it fall out? What are the
Well,
logistics of this?
baggy shorts, baggy pants, or they were low hangers and they sort of flopped out. But certainly it wasn't because the officer detected something hard in his groin.
Oh, hey,
No.
Carl is in the chat.
Question. So what if the person from the last article and this one are the same one, and he's using a stake to kind of treat the the groin incident?
That would be ill-advised,
I don't think that's the case, because even that's too much coherent thought from a man who got busted for shooting himself through the balls and dropping balls of balloons of marijuana out his ass. Mind you, they are in the same things falling out of them in custody club. Or falling out of their lower halves in some capacity. At least this guy didn't try the exact same trick and just shove the stakes up his ass. So, he deserves some credit for that one.
So apparently you were turning on Steam. Like quite a bit, apparently.
Oh God, why?
No, that was not the intent. Look, I think I snapped. They photoshopped me on a backup dancer to sex junk.
I need more booze.
We should stop talking about this. The Ale Committee's going to catch word and I'm going to catch hell for it because it's just not ethical. You can't get away. Oh, I'm so screwed.
Yes, you are, in more ways than one.
Well, I'll deal with that later.
Just make sure you wear protection.
Look, I know most of the Ale Committee on a personal level at this point. They should all have some empathy. I don't think any of them want anything to do with Bill Nye's sex junk either.
Wait. You know them on a personal level. That seems semi-concerning.
Look, it's Arketer Labs. I founded it. I've had a hand in just about everyone here, but
Phrasing!
they exiled me once already. I can promise you they're going to do their jobs.
Also, speaking of Arketer Labs, how did I get here? I don't remember ever getting an invitation.
And you'll be returned without ever remembering leaving.
The interview room smells funny, like chloroform and pee.
Dude, I just pop in and out as I please. Art can't control me.
That's not our policy. So, look, we're not going to get into this because I don't want to further demean your capacity, but our holding cells are some of the cleanest any quasi-legal clandestine organization employs. We have pride here, Mr. Wicked. We're not just some shadow government thugs sticking people in filthy holding cells.
Oh, that's the other ones.
Yes, actually. So much worse than us out there. Really. You have so many more things to worry about. All of you. So many more things to worry about, which most of you already know just from these articles that I would tend to go through. Not necessarily these specific articles, but other articles. Anyhow, come on, give Arketer a break. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Kitty cuties, so people run interference for me, and I appreciate it. Certainly, this could be one of the reasons I snapped when Steam clearly pushed me a bit too far. Because they knew where to hit me, and I can't imagine where they knew where to hit me. Who could possibly have been reminding them again and again of what possible photoshopping they could do that would punch me right in the tenderest of nerves? Do you have any idea, Froman? Who could have given them these ideas?
I have done nothing whatsoever, ever, in my life.
I'm just a civilian, I have nothing to do with this.
Meanwhile, in other sad news...
Oh, Steam's lying again.
We all know the sacred pact of the like.
Snitch.
Worship Lord Ark.
Major corporations have been asking people for X many likes and then they'll do things as favors. Supermodels vowing they'll go to prom with some random idiot who managed to get a bunch of people to like and retweet things on Twitter. But this sacred pact, this bond has been broken by a criminal. A fugitive who agreed to surrender for 15k Facebook likes is still on the run. Mark this man's face. He has done us all a huge disservice. I hope, Mr. Wicked, that you can help capture this criminal. Torrington Police Department in Connecticut have 7 warrants outstanding for the arrest of Jose Sims, 29, over failure to appear charges. A wanted man who agreed to hand himself in to police if he got 15,000 Facebook likes is still on the run. Torrington Police Department in Connecticut has 7 outstanding warrants for the arrest of, again, Jose Sims, 29, over failure to appear. The department posted 2 mugshots on Facebook early Wednesday morning, including another unrelated wanted suspect, 36-year-old Christopher Wynan, and Jose Sims negotiated with me earlier this week through Facebook and has agreed to turn himself in to Torrington Police if we can get 15,000 likes on this post. I said 10,000. He wanted 20,000. We split, Lieutenant Brett Johnson wrote on Facebook. As of Friday morning, the post had more than 26,000 likes. But Sims has still not been caught. Police assured the public it was using all of its resources to locate the suspects. Regardless of the number of likes this post receives, we will continue to utilize the resources we have available to us to locate both suspects and take them into custody. The City of Torrington Police Department wrote on Facebook. So please, like this post, and while you're at it, share it, tweet it, Instagram it, Snapchat it, or use whatever other pro platforms out there that I don't know about. Then again, if you know where either of these guys are, you could always let us know that too.
Yeah.
So much shade in that quote.
I'm genuinely curious if this is starting some sort of social media, like, puritanical religion, sort of, like, or witch hunt. If we get more likes, we'll hang this person.
This sounds like one of those stepping stones to that one Orville episode where people decided everything with an up or down vote.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Like, they'll just now post wanted posters of criminals, and then whichever one gets the most down votes, that's the one we prioritize catching.
This is why people think Idiocracy is gonna be real.
There are a lot of reasons people think Idiocracy might be a documentary, and oh boy, do I have some articles that might back that up, but I don't know if we have time for them all. You know what, maybe we'll investigate that theory here a bit more. So, what do you think about this like-based criminal capture system?
They're all doomed. Can I borrow one of your doomsday devices once I get out of here?
We have one doomsday device, and it's not our design.
Oh shit.
At least it wasn't designed. We didn't design it as a doomsday virus device. We have Orwell's corpse, and it's basically providing power to every last facility we have. We're just wasting massive crap tons of power just to drain it. And if there's a very good chance that if things keep on getting more Orwellian...
Hold up. You turned Orwell's corpse into a fan.
A generator.
Power.
A generator. And you should all be thanking us. That thing is spinning close to relativistic speeds. If we weren't harnessing it, slowing it down, it would have gone critical a long time ago.
Do you accept internships?
Yes, but that's another affair, and there's a whole bunch of waivers to sign, but we can discuss that at a later date.
I haven't had to sign anything.
It would be a diversity hire, because,
It's true, it's true. We do like to appear woke like most organizations. But you're neither a Muslim nor a woman, so I don't know if it's really going to push the numbers.
I'm a cripple and Slavic.
Can you convert to Islam?
No?
Okay. Look, I'll pass it along to HR, but I can't promise anything.
Who the fuck? Okay, who is HR in this hellhole?
Human resources.
No, but who is it? Because I really want to talk to them. I just want to talk.
What do you mean hellhole?
My room smells like pee and chloroform.
Look, I'm going to launch an inquiry into that later too. Let's see, we have another. Oregon dad faked robbery and used his daughter's $700 Girl Scout cookie money to pay for erotic massage. Oh look, it's a family story.
I hope he got at least a happy ending for that $700.
It is erotic.
I would expect one.
You know, what I find interesting about this is Kulture was fined 100 and given 80 hours community service and probation. That seems pretty mild for stealing $700 from his daughter. I
I
mean,
probably would slap him.
unless he blew all $700 on that erotic massage.
That had to be some massage.
Extraordinary. Like, things that masseuse was doing for him that probably aren't, well, extra legal.
Ego.
Extra legal. Super illegal. Crimes against law and man and nature itself. Ray Stone, director of Arketer Live, he can't be Muslim, he can't bow down at the way. You know, we really wouldn't want to get you in trouble with other Muslims in that case, so we can bury that idea. Actually, that does remind me. Right, first off, back to this article. You sure you didn't want to read one of these, Mr. Wicked? I know you said something about foreign and accent, but you're really quite mistaken about that being a negative. I mean,
Nah, I'm fine. I would just have to do running commentary.
very good. Yes, comment away. Very important. I shouldn't have too much dead air or me rambling to myself. I know one really wants to hear that. I know I can't stand it if I have to see myself talking too long. It does terrible things to my psyche. An Oregon father who stole his daughter's Girl Scout cookie earnings to pay for a $700 erotic massage has admitted staging a robbery at his home to cover his tracks. Brian David Colshure, 40, called 911 on March 6, reporting an intruder had entered his home near Forest Grove, Portland, through an sliding glass door. Portland, Oregon! Oh, this is the hipster paradise where they once shut down a taco truck for cultural appropriation. Extraordinary.
Big O. Wait, can you imagine that Girl Scout meeting right after? Congrats, Susie, your dad stole the money and paid himself a hand job.
You know, that poor kid. They're the ones who are really going to suffer for this. Although I note that Dad of the Year here appears to have gotten a black eye recently.
My guess it was the scout leader.
I hope so. Then again, actually, it might very well be. The Girl Scouts are basically a cookie cult at this point, and I'm pretty sure they don't take kindly to people interfering with their profits.
Have you ever seen Girl Scouts? They are vicious.
I have been mauled to death 14 times by an army of Girl Scouts. I do know that.
I would expect them to have some pretty serious enforcers if they need them. Let's see. When officers arrived, they found Kosher unresponsive, his laptop damaged, and the house ransacked. Wait.
Hold up.
Oh, hold on. This doesn't make any sense at all. He called 911 to report an intruder, damaged his own laptop, or I guess he just dropped it and got the idea then. And then
Oh, I know where he got the black eye. He punched himself out.
And they find him unresponsive, so I'm guessing he's going to claim that this intruder, this urban ninja, knocked him out shortly after he placed the 911 call.
Exactly, and from the front as well, because the black eye. Quite a
Some
courteous thief.
some $700 was also missing from a jar containing the proceeds of his daughter's Girl Scout cookie sales. Kosher was taken to a hospital and later told police he had struggled with an intruder. The Washington County District Attorney's Office found investigators found blood around the home, and Kosher was seen with a black eye in his mugshot. However, no suspects arose despite a search of the area, and police quickly noticed multiple inconsistencies in Kosher's version of the events. One neighbor told KGW8 News at the time that the report of the burglary had sparked a panic among local residents. Brooke Gwynn said, "There were cops from all over, dogs, the forensic team. They had crime scene tape up everywhere. We put sticks in all of our doors, and I started setting the alarm during the day because I was afraid to come home by myself during the day." It's really kind of strange, though. Did he hit himself on the head? He went away in an ambulance.
Can we just mention that he put his entire neighborhood on panic mode just because he wanted to get a hand job from a masseur? All of this over a hand job for $700.
And I'm really wondering how much that laptop that he damaged was worth.
Probably more than $700.
The district attorney's office said the 40-year-old eventually admitted that he'd staged the robbery himself because he could not otherwise explain the missing money.
There is something that baffles me about taking money for what amounts to a hand job with fancy oils and stuff.
That's a pretty dysfunctional marriage, too. I mean, someone feels they need to stage a robbery to steal their daughter's Girl Scout cookie money to, well, go get a happy ending.
Or, to keep
Ouch.
it with the Girl Scout cookie theme, some tag-alongs.
Huh.
That sounds like an innuendo, right?
Yes.
Borrow marketing for new Girl Scout cookies flavor?
Yeah. Get some cream filled.
Go back into your box.
I,
That's horrible.
Certainly it's memorable if it were the case, though. Kosher pleaded guilty on Monday to initiating a false police report. He was ordered to pay $100 in fine and given 80 hours of community service along with probation. I think he's got off pretty light there.
Well, he got off more than once, if that's the case.
The Girl Scout spokesman said in a statement to Fox 12 that Kosher will know better than to try this again, and that if he does, he will pay in blood and tears.
wait, his name is Kosher. Does that mean the Jews approve?
I do not endorse anything Froman says ever, just for the record.
Ark is amazing.
Yeah, I'm still not endorsing that. Since March 18th, arrest in this case, we have been in contact with the Forest Grove Police Department and are working with them to resolve the matter. The statements reads.
I'm pretty sure Child Protective Services are gonna be called.
Probably, and if he was having trouble getting Nuki from his hypothetical wife previous, I'm pretty sure that's only going to be exacerbated by the impending divorce. But hey, maybe he can rejoin the dating game and not have to pay $700.
He just had to go on Tinder. But then again, with the new Snapchat filter, that probably won't work out for him.
Note, I did actually make up that claim from the Girl Scouts spokeswoman, but the Girl Scouts do have this statement. At this time, Girl Scouts of Oregon and Southwest Washington is following our normal procedure to collect the funds owed. The stewardship of Girl Scout troop funds is a top priority for our organization, and that is our focus in this matter.
That sounds sinister.
This man is in such deep shit. And it goes well beyond the $100 fine in community service. The Girl Scouts of America are going to get their 740 unaccounted for cookie sales.
Girl Scouts and cookies. We actually don't have Girl Scouts back at home, but thankfully, because Slavic girls are vicious.
Is that so? I haven't had any sort of interaction with Slavic girls in general, so I have to take your word for it.
You
Wait,
should.
are they while you're in a wheelchair?
Maybe. I declined to discuss that because my therapist says so.
They're very thick.
Yes.
That's both terrifying
Very thick.
and rather metal. So, among one of the other reasons you should convert to Islam, in hindsight, Mr. Wicked, and I feel terrible for suggesting it, we're going to have to fluff our diversity numbers some other way. It's just that, strictly speaking, becoming a Muslim obligates you to follow certain rules. And if you have enabled or allowed Sharia law to come into power where you live, you get to live by them. Say in Malaysia, where Malaysian officials are to pose as waiters, with cooks to catch Muslims not fasting during Ramadan.
Woohoo, diversity.
Well, it's Malaysia. I suppose the problem here is that it's not diverse. If it were diverse, then they probably wouldn't be allowing a theocracy to rule them. But they are allowing a theocracy to rule them. So here they go, with more than 24 law enforcement officers going undercover as cooks and waiters to catch Muslims who aren't fasting during the holy month, the New Straits Times reported Thursday. Muslims are required to fast from dawn until dusk during Islam's holiest month. A group from Segamat in the Malaysian state of Johor will be monitoring nearly 200 eating stalls, officials said. Eating stalls. That sounds kind of... I don't know about you, does that sound kind of gross?
It sounds like human cattle. Quite literally.
Feeding stalls. Yeah, change one word and it's feeding stall. Also, I keep on thinking, when I hear stalls, I think of bathrooms.
Exactly.
Anyhow, there are 185 licensed stalls and food outlets under MPS at 15 locations. These include Segamat, Bandar Putra, Lol, Segamat Baru, Yalan Segamat Muar, Taman Yayasan, Pulau Kasap, Yemanta, Batu Anam, and Bandar Utama. Segamat Municipal Council President Maud Wacky Man told New Straits Times. I probably said at least one of those right. The law enforcement officers will secretly record the person eating when they should be fasting and alert the local religious council, according to the paper. Once the order is sent, the enforcement staff will secretly capture the image of the individual or group of people enjoying the food and immediately contact the Segamat Islamic Religious Council, Wacky Man said. He added, the MPS does not want to be seen as not making an effort to handle the issue of Muslims eating in the open during Ramadan. Not only is it disrespectful to Islam, it reflects badly on the MPS as the act is committed at stalls under its supervision. In Johor, Muslims who are caught eating when they should be fasting could be jailed for 6 months or face a fine. Sisters in Islam, a Muslim women's rights group in Malaysia, called the plan Shameful. We strongly demand that all parties cease this disgraceful act of spying, the group said. Unfortunately, no one listened to them because it's a theocracy of Islam. And if they listened to women, they probably wouldn't need a women's rights group. Well, actually, that's not true. That's a horribly unfair slander. I mean, most Western countries have all sorts of women's rights groups for reasons.
Nobody expects the Muslim Inquisition. They're gonna take pictures of you.
Yes, that's right. You'd be just sitting there, minding your own business, eating a meal. And suddenly, you find out that your waiter was a couple along, as was the chef, the table, and the chair you were sitting on.
That was the table. I just wanted to say that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I steal your joke?
Steam, I'm already kidnapped. I can do what I want as long as I'm here.
Steam wants to kidnap me because I am that sexy.
And she wants to kidnap me because I dabbed in the chat, but I'm already kidnapped. Joke's on you.
Memes of destruction, Samoas for the win. I'm actually totally agreed. Samoas are my weakness. I'm not allowed to have them ever again.
Thin Mints. Frozen Thin Mints. Crushed up, put over ice cream. Oh, can't beat
Yes,
that.
I can't have those either anymore, and those are my second favorite. And I would very much like to smack you around, even without Kitty Cutie Now's encouragement. By the way, greetings, Jimmy Hats and Sparky's Tech Corner. I hope you're enjoying the bubble. Okay, well, we're just about running out of time, so suffice to say, dine carefully if you're a Muslim in Malaysia.
And watch out for the tables. They might
Or,
be people.
I suppose, fast until after dusk, which I think would just result in people binge eating at night, but what do I know? Actually, I'm not really clear on what would explain that.
Just like sitting there.
Well, I don't understand the necessity, but this is a theological question and we don't have any experts on hand. If only one day I got Imam Tawidi on here, we could quiz him on these details. But that's not going to happen. Like, it wouldn't hurt to ask.
I mean, you can always just employ the usual method of putting a bag over his head and, the rest.
His security is way too good for that, and that makes perfect sense when you consider what he's up against.
Not much of a shadowy organization, are you then?
No, it's not what our priority is. I mean, we have a budget, there's a cost-benefit analysis, and this whole thing is basically my pet project, so there's only so much I can get away with. But don't worry, we'll have you back home shortly. Okay, I suppose before we start shutting things down, what are you doing in the next few weeks to months, Mr. Wicked?
Aside from getting ready to college, if you allow me to leave. Nah, just the college thing.
We're not monsters, Mr. Wicked. You'll be returned in precise condition you arrived. Actually, we'd send you back better if we could, but it's just... it invites a lot of extra attention. Okay, by the way...
just make sure you don't leave my wheelchair here.
No, don't worry. Everything you came with goes right back. First off, I'd like to congratulate you. I understand that you have graduated.
Yeah.
What does this mean for you?
That I have to go to college to actually get an actual degree.
So, what are you going for? Whiteness studies, women's studies,
English studies.
I mean, that's not...
Includes language, literature, geography, history.
So, basically, the plotting your escape courses.
Yes.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, I wish you the best of luck with that. Again, congratulations on passing your tests. I recall, in fact, we informed everyone about that and showed us the Hitman outfit you wore to the tests to, boost your confidence. It's a great idea. Sometimes get dressed up, go out there. Letting the clothes make the man.
Yes, I actually wanted the black suit, but they said black suit looked really strange on me. Curses.
I don't see why it would. Maybe they didn't want. Oh, it might be for the best actually. You don't want to be confused for the MIB, one. And two, it also would have looked more like you were going to a funeral. Whereas, as you went out in the blue suit with the blue tie, you looked more like you're about to put someone in a condition to star in a funeral.
That wasn't the intent, but I will take it.
Hey, it was great. You had this, slitted, deadpan expression. And again, you could have just, hey, do me a favor. Could you say, it's not personal, it's just business?
It's not personal, it's just business.
Oh no, that's not nearly badass enough. You try to put an octave lower, make it very serious.
It's not personal, it's just business.
I got this.
That works.
It's not personal. It's just business.
Yes.
I'm not a very serious person. Oh.
Look, the trick there is to don't take being serious seriously.
Don't take being
See-
serious seriously.
Here's how I do it. See, you have some people in life who choose to be serious. You have some people in life who choose to be funny. Myself personally, I choose to be seriously funny.
Jesus.
See, Froman aims high. Froman shoots for the stars.
And I fall on my face. I mean, what?
I'm just going to say you haven't quite left orbit yet. But you're trying, and that's the important thing. I just wish it was a bit less at my expense. Anyhow, please stay tuned for Direwolf Media's Weekend News Roundup. And remember, your support is deeply appreciated. Feel free to remind them that they haven't made any grievous errors in incorporating me on the team here. Please. In the meantime, I hope you all have fine weekends, or what remains. Ostensibly, progress continues. Until next time, I'll be live on my own channel on Monday, and of course back next Wednesday with the Wednesday article Wade. Until then, progress continues, or whatever. We keep our holding cells perfectly clean, damn it.
No, you don't. I speak from experience.
I'm surrounded by filthy, filthy liars.